Manifesto at the Parkview shopping centre east of Pretoria. The party contested the first democratic election in 1994 and has been represented in the National Assembly since then. The leader of the FF Plus, Pieter Groenewald, says they want to bring a message of hope to all South Africans during the manifesto launch. Our reporter, Patricia Visage, is there. Let's cross live to her now. A very good morning, Patricia. What can we expect from the FF Plus launch today?
Well, good morning. Certainly a lot of expectation today here as we wait the formal election manifesto launch of the Freedom Front Plus that is taking place here in Pretoria. Of course, a lot of build-up, I think a bit different from other political parties where you would see a crowd that is actually flocking into a stadium. They here at the Parkview shopping centre in the heart of the capital, of course, capital city. So let's speak to the leaders of the party. Let's now give it straight to Voter Wessels. He is an FF Plus MP and is of course also the party's election head. So he'll be able to unpack all the details that we need. What can we expect in the party's election manifesto that will be launched a little bit later in the program by party leader Dr. of course Groenewald, who will unpack what exactly that message of hope is that we know the party has centralized upon their election manifesto. Voter Wessels, baie dankie en in 'n netedop, as jy net vir ons kan sê, wat presies kan ons vandag verwag? Praat asseblief in Engels sodat almal kan verstaan. If you can just unpack to us, what exactly can we expect today?
Okay. We launched our election campaign last year in Port Elizabeth, and we identified 5 focus areas that the party is saying must be addressed in South Africa to actually ensure a better future for all in South Africa. So today the manifesto will be launched, and that manifesto provides actual solutions and addresses those 5 critical issues. So that is what you can expect from the manifesto. We say there is hope for better South Africa. There is hope that we can all live in a South Africa of prosperity, of more job opportunities, in a South Africa where we can actually be ourselves.
For a South African who doesn't understand the message of hope, how would you actually put it to them in simple terms, in a synopsis, so we understand what is the hope that you're talking about? Is it not just another fancy election slogan, political rhetoric? What is hope?
Well, the leader will today, Dr. Groenewald will today announce or will elaborate on what the actual solutions are that the party provides. And we say there is hope because of the system, because of the electoral system, because the fact that each electorate has the opportunity on the 8th of May to go and vote, and to vote for a party like the FF Plus, who can form part of coalition governments, who can then serve the interest of the voters, and who can implement these policies that are in our manifesto that provide solutions to the very the crises that are facing South Africa.
The 5 priority points that you're also referring to, stipulate that for us.
Well, our 5 focus areas are expropriation without compensation, because we say that South Africa will be a worse off place for all, for black and white, if private citizens lose the interest or lose the right to own property. Then we say stop discrimination. Discrimination must be addressed, and our manifesto elaborates on that. We say service delivery, poor service delivery must be addressed, and we have solutions in that regard. We say corruption and also the exploitation of the taxpayer must stop. And then we also say crime, because crime is out of control in South Africa. We live in an unsafe country, and we need solutions in that regard.
You're also a party that has been very vocal, I think, over the past 25 years of democracy about the issue of black economic empowerment and affirmative action. And that is part of your election manifesto once again. I mean, it's the 6th election since the inception of democracy that the FF Plus is actually gearing up for. So let's delve into that issue. It is a hot potato in South African politics, in South Africa's social landscape, in particular if you look at the majority of the country's people are black people, previously marginalized, disadvantaged because of the apartheid system. You coming in a constitutional democracy, new dispensation, and you saying we need to do away with black economic empowerment and affirmative action. How do you actually sell that message in the context of the South African demographics? How do you sell that message?
Well, 25 years later, and black economic empowerment has not empowered the majority of people in South Africa. People are getting poorer, job opportunities are getting lost, unemployment is a crisis, a national crisis. So has black economic empowerment worked at all? Or has it only benefited a small elite of cadres of the ruling party? And everywhere in the world, you can go and look at affirmative action policies. It actually does not benefit the actual people that should be the beneficiaries. Our manifesto acknowledges the injustices of the past and say that we must address that, but not use the proxy of skin color. We should use the proxy of socio-economic circumstances, thus of poverty, of a lack of access to quality education, as a proxy of empowerment. And then we say empowerment should occur when there is growth in the economy and when there is development. At the moment, the ANC has for 25 years only tried to redistribute, but not actually build the economy. That's why there's less opportunities. We need actual policies that will affect change, where more people have job opportunities, where more people can create wealth, and where there is more wealth. You can never create wealth by only redistributing it. It will end.
And perhaps a lot of people would agree with you that we need to grow the economy in order to, of course, stimulate job creation, and that's how you actually bridge the gap between the rich and the poor, and you eradicate things such as inequality. And we talk about the triple challenges. It's inequality, it's poverty, it's unemployment. It's very high, and it's really, I think, at the heart of our social defect in South Africa right now. But still, to say that we need not to have systems such as black economic empowerment and affirmative action without actually coming up with a proper, strong, holistic, solution that counters that. I think that is perhaps not enough. It sounds like just political rhetoric, because if you say that the governing party needs to eradicate the system, and we know why it has not been working, there are other issues involved. It's perhaps corruption at the center of it. But affirmative action, black economic empowerment as a system on paper, does it really not work? Is that really what South Africa does not need?
Yes, because what it also does is it reduces a person to only a race and a skin.
What else? What other options do we have? If you could sell that message to South Africans right now, if you had to counter that, if South Africans had to put you there and say, okay, we're doing away with affirmative action and black economic empowerment, what else do you put on the table? In short, give it in context for us.
What we say is let's leave the archaic racial classification system. Let's be progressive, and let us move to a system that uses socio-economic circumstances as a proxy for development. Thus, you have an empowerment policy, but it doesn't look at the skin color, because now you have a child in Khayelitsha that is excluded, but a child in Houghton that is included, not because of his socio-economic circumstances, but because of the skin color. You have children of millionaires that benefit, but children without anything that is excluded from the system because it doesn't work. And the fact of the matter is we have a racial polarization in South Africa. We need to be united in our diversity. And the only way to do that is to move away from the racial classification. At the moment, I can say you are only the presenter of this program because you are black, but you're a very good presenter. So it reduces you to only a skin color. That's why even the captain of the Springbok rugby team said he doesn't want to be a quota. He wants to be there on merit. And we need to develop and grow. And that's the alternative to using race as it was done before 1994. Why can't we be progressive and join a modern democracy and build a better future?
Okay, let's talk about your other points. Of course, we've got other issues such as I think mother tongue development that your party is also very strong about. You feel that children should be taught in their mother tongues at, of course, in particular at a development level, entry level at school. That's a very strong point that you also have. Just again, give us that background.
Currently it's very unfair towards a child that goes to school up until grade 4 in their mother tongue, say in isiXhosa, and then all of a sudden they have to go to school in English or in Afrikaans. And that is to the detriment. That's why we have such a high fallout rate in South Africa. And go and look at a child that studies in his mother tongue. It's a scientific fact that you develop much better. You learn concepts, especially in terms of science and maths, in your mother tongue. And that's why we need to move away from this as only the emphasis on English. We have 11 official languages. Let's develop all of them to languages of higher education, and let's give everybody access to education in their mother tongue.
Separate development, which is another hot potato, that also touches on your policies. It also touches on your election manifesto. Why, 25 years into democracy, do we still have a party that is actually advancing, promoting separate development? I mean, are we not fighting for an all-inclusive society, social cohesion, where we can all live together, black and white, young and old, regardless of what race or ethnic group or, a cultural background you have? We all have to live together. That's what makes the Rainbow Nation, isn't it? But you moving away from the concept of the Rainbow Nation.
No, not at all. Nation building has not succeeded in South Africa. What do we do for nation building in South Africa? Since 1994, we have one big sport event after the other. But our nation building recipe has failed. We need a new dispensation. And the word separate development is wrong. That's not what the FF Plus is standing for. We stand for self-determination, as included in the Constitution. The Constitution of the modern democracy, Section 235, says that every cultural group, not racial group, it has nothing to do with race, but each cultural linguistic group has the right to self-determination. And it's understood completely wrong. Go and look at the modern democracy. It's actually a liberal democracy value of self-determination everywhere in the world. It has nothing to do with a separate state to not mix with any other racial group. That has nothing to do with it. It's self-determination to make decisions over your own, to make decisions over your language, to say what language you want your children to go to school to. That is one example. A cultural board, as Section 185 of the Constitution provides for, to actually look after the cultural affairs of cultural groups.
But don't we have that? We have that. People have their cultures. They do have...
We don't have it functioning. Section 185 is not functioning.
What do you mean it's not functioning? Are you saying that since democracy, people just stopped speaking their languages, practicing their cultures?
No, they are, but they're not empowered in terms of the actual rights that are enshrined in the Constitution. The Constitution provides for Section 185 commissions and committees, and that is not functioning. We don't have the right to actually look after our own heritage sites. We pay tax, but we don't actually have the right to say we want to empower that culture or that language. And self-determination is something modern. It's a way of developing a community, and it's more community-based. It's saying communities, we should also take local government and governance to the most local level. At the moment, we have these big municipalities, big national government. The ANC is trying to centralize everything. We say decentralize, let the community take care of himself. One town, one municipality, let them decide. It has nothing to do with separate development.
Okay, let's come back to Gauteng. Like any other political party, you also want a chunk of the economy. Gauteng is the country's economic hub, and the FF Plus have geared themselves up to, of course, be part of that political, power that may emerge from the Gauteng province after May 8. You even made it very clear that you are ready and you are prepared to enter into coalition agreements with whoever may approach you. Why are you feeling that strong?
Well, our policy says, and has always said, that we will enter into a coalition to get the ANC out of power, because the ANC has proven that they cannot govern South Africa, and we need an alternative. A multi-party democracy and a multi-party government is better for the people. We see that currently in Tshwane, where we govern with other parties at the moment since 2016. Also Johannesburg, where we govern with other parties as part of a coalition. In Cape Town in 2006, we formed part of a coalition at the moment in Hesekwa. And today the Deputy Mayor of Hesekwa will also deliver a message of hope with regards to why the FF Plus has proven that they can govern. And that is why we are saying we can serve the interest of the people of Gauteng if we form part of a coalition, vote for us, make us stronger, so that we can, if you agree with our policies, if you agree with our manifesto that provides solutions, that we can carry those solutions into a coalition government.
And just lastly, before we give back to studio, you're also very confident that you will grow substantially. This year, we've heard the party leader said that you have been inundated with calls of people who are querying about, whether they can join. And he made it very clear that you're hoping to capitalize on the unhappy DA members, perhaps, obviously other political parties as well. But that is the chunk of the political constituency and the voter that you are garnering for.
Yes, we participated in quite a number of by-elections last year. And for instance, in Paris and Guate municipality in the world there, our votes grew with 71%, where other parties lost up to 40% of their votes. In other municipalities in George, we grew with 91%, whilst other parties lost as much as 80% of their votes. So there is a tendency that we are gaining support, that we are growing, and that people are saying that the Freedom Front Plus does provide solutions to problems. We have proven over 25 years. It's also our birthday. We are celebrating our birthday today. We were established on the 4th of March 1994 to participate in the first democratic election, and we have proven, our team has proven over the last 25 years that we serve, that we're not there to be power hungry, but that we're actually there to provide solutions behind the scenes, to serve even the smallest constituent, the poorest constituent, to provide solutions. And that is why we are growing, and we will grow in this election.
All right, thank you so much there. Wouter Wessels, he is the FF Plus election head and member of parliament. He was in a nutshell just unpacking what the party stands for, what their policies are, and what we can expect that will emerge from the party's election manifesto that will be delivered later in the program, of course, by party leader Dr. Groenewald, that of course will, as I said earlier, try and echo a message of hope for those. The party hope will be, of course, voting for the Freedom Front Plus on the 8th of May during the party's national elections. We'll be bringing you more updates in terms of what's happening here as we build momentum to the party's election manifesto top of the hour, and we'll also unpack to you what the party constituencies, those are the party members, the voters on the ground, what their expectations are, whether they're happy or unhappy with what came out of the election manifesto. But as I said, mood perhaps a bit different from that we are accustomed with other political parties, perhaps the bigger ones where you would see a crowd packed in a stadium and so forth. Here things seem to be a little bit intimate. We are in a theatre, so it's very hot, as you can see. I'm flustered. So we'll bring you more updates on top of the hour. For now, let's head it back to studio.
Thanks a lot there to Patricia Visage. We'll continue dipping into that process this morning, the Freedom Front Plus launching their election manifesto.